Please, God, work. Okay, it's live. Why isn't my camera working? I got nothing. I can't even hear. I can't. Oh, God. What have I done wrong? What have I done wrong?
Slow down. Excuse me.
Please work. Fuck. Okay, let's try this. Start.
Yeah, I think we can be heard. We just can't be seen.
Okay. Wait a minute. What happened here? I'm sorry, guys. Give me a minute. Okay. Why? The camera's on. No. Oh, God.
Hold on, guys. We're sorting out some technical difficulties. We'll be right back. Yeah, the lens cap is off. We're just trying to get it shared into the stream. Hold on, guys.
Hi, guys. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties, so we're gonna just roll with this. And if you are having trouble hearing us because we're working on the video feed, just let us know. But we're gonna go ahead with the show. Unfortunately, I have no fabulous intro for you. So anyway, welcome to the February 18th edition of Lock and Load Radio. And yes, the boys are back, and Andy is flustered, but that's not news. And it's been a little raucous in the studio this evening. I am joined by the fabulous Blasberg and Mike Doherty. And I need to just clear some stuff up because you never know when the press is going to be listening. The views that are expressed on this program are mine and Mike's and Dan's, respectively. We may work with various organizations, but we are not speaking for any organizations this evening. Let us
Do I get
be.
an opinion tonight?
You may have your own Blasberg opinion.
Woohoo!
So, but I just need to be clear about that. And that nice disclaimer gets me off the hook and gets Dan off the hook and whatever else. And yeah, Mike, I've still got the, oh, no. Oh, you just unplugged it? Okay, that's why I was going to say. We're still working on the video. So did you replug it in? Yes. Okay, so reconnect. 1 second, guys. We'll get started here in just a second. Yeah, see? So that's the software. The software is working.
We're talking about something else.
All right, we'll talk about something else. Dan,
Andy,
how the heck are you?
just ducky.
Good. Wine this evening is Relax, which apparently I can't do. Brought to you by Centerville Liquors. Thank you, Jim. And I went in to see Jim today, and he swore up and down he'd be listening. So I imagine he is, and hope to God he is. He plays it in our store, so we have to invoke the "it's not 9 o'clock" rule. So I'm not sure which of us is going to be in charge of that rule, but we'll all sort of.
We'll try to figure it out.
Yeah, we'll try to work it out. So John is not here this evening. He really does need to be nominated for Dad of the Year based on the videos that I'm getting from my daughter. I don't think there's enough chemistry in the world to overcome what the poor man is going through.
Or alcohol, for that matter.
So my daughter, being 13, is way into this thing called Vine, and she's, this, that, and the other thing. And there are these Vine stars. Hayes Greer. Oh, my. So all these Vine stars, I mean, there's a whole bunch of them, are doing a show at Ram's Head Live. And my husband said that he would take her. And this conversation took place over dinner in a restaurant. And
Was he not aware of what he's getting into?
I don't know. Well, I don't think he was. I tried to warn him, but we'll see. What was I going to tell you? Oh, so I had told her no because I know better. I know 13-year-old girls. I used to be one. But anyway, and various other reasons, because her grades need to be up and blah, 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 blah. But John felt that she had been doing an extra good job with her chores and she deserved a reward. So, okay. So he texted me across the table and said, "I'd like to buy her the tickets. Would you mind?" And I said, no. So he told her, and she said, "Oh my God, that's so great." And then somehow it came up about Mom going. She goes, "No, Mom, you're not going." And I was like, this is the one time when you get to disinvite me to something that I won't be offended. So score one for Mom. But oh my God, the videos coming through from this event. I mean, imagine 600 screaming 13-year-olds. It's just, and of course, my daughter is louder than all of them. So John gets Father of the Year. He bought her and her girlfriends all kinds of t-shirt and swag. And when he told me what the price was, I went, well, all right, then you really are Dad of the Year. So, yeah. Pink fuzzy bunny. I don't want to know. Yes, he is definitely Dad of the Year. So we are joined by a lot of our friends in the chat room. The chat room link is on Maryland Shooters under tonight's episode. It's also on my Facebook under the initial posting that I had. So if you want to join us in chat, after the field producer, the technical producer gets us video, hopefully someday. I don't know. This normally works, and I don't know why it's not working. But anyway, so a couple of things have happened this week in the news. So we'll just sort of get started. I guess the most interesting thing that's happened for Maryland shooters, and I don't say Maryland shooters meaning the flag, but Maryland firearms owners, is the appointment of the new head of Maryland State Police, whose last name is Palazzi. Do you remember his first name? I'd have to look it up. I can't.
David, I believe.
Okay. So
I'll look it up here in a second.
He was apparently had oversight on the executive of the executive protection detail under Ehrlich. And, you know, I don't know a lot about him. I know we're all waiting to see, but really the directions will come, you know, the policy would be the governor's house at Maryland House. So I don't know what to expect. I know what I hope, but I don't have any. People could say, oh, "What do you think? What do you think?" I have no grand insight. I've never met the man. I don't know. So I don't know. And any.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
Other than what we've seen in the newspaper and posted on the various boards and all of that.
What did you read about him? Because I didn't get a chance to read.
The only two things that I'm aware of is that back when everybody's favorite former Maryland State Patrol officer was the head of licensing, Pelosi was his boss, and he was also in charge of the bureau that was in charge of executive protection back in 2013 when Gansler started pitching a fit.
Well, anything that ticks off Gansler is okay with me.
I'm fine with that.
I'm down. I'm pretty sure my guys are down.
So Part 2A in Maryland, his first name is William.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
I was close. William, Dave, William.
Why do we not have video? John's going to come home and say, John's going to come home and be like, well, you forgot to.
It's something simple.
I know. So, all right.
Don't worry about that. You keep talking.
All right. Hold on. Let me get my bills out. I've got some national stuff to talk about tonight, but I also want to talk about, I do have a non-2A thing that I want to talk about.
Okay.
And I know you were around for this, and I believe Mike was around for this as well. It's an interesting bill, and it has nothing to do with Second Amendment. You recall that in years past, Delegate Glenn Glass, who has been pushing the smart meter issue.
Yeah.
Okay, and it has been just no.
The delegate's actually been a champion for that.
Yes, he has. So, you know, after listening to him and then following up on the sources that he gave me, I opted out, and we are being charged, and which is freaking ridiculous. So, Glenn Glass, working across the aisle with Senator McFadden, has introduced a bill. And the bill is designed to. The bill requires an electric gas or gas and electric company, utility company, to give prior written notice of the deployment of smart meters to each customer in the affected portion of its service territory. The utility company is prohibited from imposing an additional fee or charge on a utility customer who refuses to have this smart meter installed or requests removal of a smart meter under the bill. The bill contains two related reporting requirements to PSC and DHMH. Interestingly, the senator from the lower shore, Mathias, has another bill, but his fiscal note is large in comparison.
Mm-hmm.
So good for Glenn Glass. I'm really, really pleased for him. You know, this is what we're supposed to do is reach across the aisle. Reach across the aisle and work together to get stuff done that benefits Maryland. What do you want from me? Okay. And get stuff done, something that our old boss did very, very well. Anyway, so yeah, the Senate bill is 9, and I'm sorry to say I didn't print out the House version, but you can easily find it. And it is worth supporting because if you don't sign up for the, go ahead.
Use my hotspot when you come up.
Roger that.
Oh, you think it's
Well,
too much?
They were complaining about choppy audio.
Oh, okay. And I've got a hotspot. Okay. So then House Bill 713, which is directly related to Second Amendment issues. I'm sorry, I'm a little tired today. I should have just had more coffee. That's what I should have done. So,
coffee, more food.
yeah, I didn't eat well today.
You don't eat well every day. I've seen you eat.
I eat. I'm here.
Not like you should. But that's a discussion for another
Day.
Another segment. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, because until we have video, you can't really start picking on me because he's too busy to join in. So,
he'll pick on you. It's just that he'll be in the background.
I need him focused. So House Bill 713, natural resources. This bill seems innocuous on its face. Read the bill. If you don't even have to be a supporter of Second Amendment. You can be pro-gun control and hate this bill. It is natural resources, trade in ivory and rhinoceros horn prohibition. Now that sounds like, not a big deal. However, when you flip to, hold on, the third page of the bill, and you run down, and they add, and you have to provide a definition of the word ivory. Ivory means any tooth or tusk, or any piece of a tooth or tusk from any species of wildlife, all species, including all species of elephant, hippopotamus, walrus, whale, or narwhal. What do you want me to do? Okay. So basically, for hunters, it would be like if you were going to have a deer skull mount. Yeah, you can't then sell it. And the question then becomes, well, then can you have it mounted? Because technically you're giving it to the taxidermist and he's selling it to you. He's selling you a product or service, or however you want to put it. But this gets even stickier. So let's say they say, oh, no, taxidermy is okay. Own a piano with ivory keys? That could be a problem. You can't ever sell it.
It could be.
Own a knife that has a scrimshaw handle? Won't be able to sell that either. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. This is a really bad bill. And frankly, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has already determined that that ivory prohibitions are not helping anything in terms of poaching. And because we have so many water resources in Maryland, let alone the United States. So, yeah, it's now they do go on to identify what rhinoceros horn is and blah 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 blah. But the other thing is, if you go to line 24, ivory includes, and then they say raw or worked ivory, which is to their point. But it also says any product containing or advertised as containing ivory. So there's another problem because ivory is a color.
It's also a soap.
Now that's an interesting question. So 713 is a bad bill, and it is brought to you by the following delegates: Ludke, somebody named Atterbury, who I don't know, Carr, Casserly, Fraser Hidalgo, Frush, that's not a surprise, Gilchrist, Kelly, not Kevin Kelly, Dolores Kelly, I guess, Corman, Lafferty, okay, Lamb, Moon, yeah, we all know about his blog, Pendergrass, Resnick, Robinson, Dana Stein, and Craig Zucker. So it does not have, to my knowledge, I did not recognize any Republican names on that bill.
No, I don't believe there are any.
Casserly, RD. I don't know. We'll find out. The boys in the room will tell us.
I don't know because my laptop decided to do a full shutdown restart. So you're the only one up right now between the three of us.
I'm just so
I got nothing. I got nothing. It's only 8:20. I got nothing. Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to go without.
Just keep talking. I'll figure it out.
So if I may,
may.
On a serious note, we want to take a couple of moments of silence for the latest Republican out of the city of Baltimore that passed this last week.
Yeah, that's pretty big news. Frank Conaway Sr. Passed away, 2 days ago, I think.
I
It was
believe
over
so.
the weekend.
Yeah.
And so maybe 3 days ago. And just having changed his registration, he was so disgusted with his own party that he
Does that mean he was also disgusted with his own kids?
I thought one of them flipped with him, but I don't remember.
I don't.
I really get
I know he flipped. I think the daughter thought about it but didn't do it.
Hey, winner, chicken dinner. I don't know what you did, but hey, and you won't get it any better than that, by the way. So
Okay. I'll refrain from commenting. It hasn't shown up on there.
Oh.
Working on it.
Yeah, but it usually takes about 10 seconds. So John says you can't get the graininess out of it because of the internet or something. I get confused. So
The interwebs.
Yeah,
You don't have. You
I
don't
know. It's a tech thing.
You don't have enough straws.
I leave it to the tech thing. All right. So later on, you'll have to explain to me what the hell I did wrong. But anyway, hi guys.
Hi guys.
All right.
Good evening.
Okay. So I'm going to minimize that. And wow, pink. Oh, I'm like way behind in the chat. Should we threaten our neighbors in his memory? Probably not a good idea. We do have video. Yay. Atterbury replaced Gazone in District 13. No video for you. Navy Craig, let me know. You should be getting video now. Because I'm seeing people responding. So
and I'm seeing it on my hotspot too.
And you may need to refresh. So what was the
and keep in mind that we're a little bit behind. So
what was the hitch in our giddy up?
Don't worry about it. Keep talking. Show must go on.
The show always goes on. Oh,
yes.
Navy Craig got it. Okay, good. So anyway, all right. Are you up and running now?
Not yet. Keep going.
Just keep talking. They'll figure it out.
Once I'm up, I'll chime in.
Well, I was going to move on.
It's before 9 o'clock.
And which point?
The top of your head.
If I had a hat, I could cover it up.
But a bump. Okay, so
The boys are back in town. The boys.
This is very mild compared to the pre-show studio. Yeah. So anyway, so we talked about 713, and please oppose this bill. If you need help. Oh, by the way, that reminds me, I saw a couple things in on our favorite bulletin board. If you need help writing or submitting your testimony, give me a call. Give Dan a call. I put my phone number out there every week, so it's not a big deal. But and if you want to talk to Dan, I'll hook you up privately with Dan's phone number, so that I'm not advertising your phone number on the air. But you can reach me at 410-490-2734. Testimony is not that hard. Basically, what I tell people when I teach the class is just write from your heart. Okay. Then you can go back and reread it and make sure it's, clear. But basically if you're going to go testify, don't read to them. Okay. Because you really don't like being read to from technical documents. They don't either. So you want to go in with talking points and look around and do your best. But if you can't get there, email it in. Okay. It's important. It's important. There's a number of bills. Go ahead.
The easiest thing too. One of the things that I learned working in the office, speak from your heart. Form letters are okay if that's the only thing you can do, but it makes a lot more emphasis when the personnel in the office, and hey, Dan and I were two of them last year, when we keep seeing the same thing every time. Yes, we documented for Mike that that we had citizen contact, but the ones that were different got called out and typically would end up in a folder for his desk so that he could see it and respond to it. And anything that came in as a form letter, we responded to. Thank you for your comments, and we'll make sure the delegate's aware. But anything that was personalized typically got a personal response directly from the delegate.
Right.
So
right. Yeah.
And if you would,
I'm sorry, building on that, and then we'll go to you. Building on that, if some organization puts out a form letter and you want to copy and paste it and send that in, that's fine. And God knows, please do it. but add something at the beginning. Ask a question, make your own statement. You don't have to write, a chapter. You just, 3 or 4 sentences is the beginning and then follow up. But generally speaking, when I tell people, when I teach people to do this, I say, ask them a question. It demands an answer. And if they're not answering you, then we can hang them up. But they should be taking the time to respond. I mean, now here's my deal. If you send me a form letter, and that form letter asks a question, you're going to get the same answer everybody else does because that's the same letter I got from everybody else. That's why I'm telling you, ask a question, make a statement. Even if the statement is, I'd like to, please contact me and tell me how you feel about this bill. Whatever, even that. So
it gets the staff to have to go. The staff members in most of the offices are well-trained folks. They do actually bring this stuff to their delegates. The delegate may or may not answer directly, may tell them how to answer it. But if you ask a question, it gets brought to their attention. If you just put in a form letter, it gets brought to their attention as, hey, we had a citizen contact.
And to the person that Facebooked me and said no chat room, you need to go to my Facebook and underneath the first posting for this show and look in the comments, and the link to the chat room is there. Dan.
The only other thing for me to add to that is when you sign your letter, your form letter, your email, whatever it is, use the name that is on your voter registration card, please. There are some offices that will check their voter rolls and
not ours.
And
but you're right.
Yes.
No, you're right.
If you go by your daily name Bobby and your voter registration name is Robert, they're going to look you up as Bobby and it's not going to come up. Yeah. And they're going to say, oh, not a registered voter. We've run into that in past years. So use your official voter registration name, please. Thank you.
Also got a response from Glenn Glass's office on that smart meter bill. So we're going to come right back to that as soon as I can get into my email.
Cool.
Because I did call and say, hey, give me the skinny for the show. And I know Glenn very, very well. So let's see. Delegate Glenn Glass likens the layout of Senator McFadden's bill and wants to fully support Senator McFadden on it. And to that end, he actually did cross-file the bill. There are a number of dangers and health hazards and, frankly, privacy invasions to folks who have smart meters, and they don't make me happy. And I'm reading this on the fly, literally reading this on the fly. Smart meters, another talking point. Smart meters is the bill increase people encounter after a smart meter is installed in their houses. Delegate Glenn Glass had a smart meter put on his house without permission, and his bill doubled. Senator, I think she means Matthias, also had a smart meter put on his house, and his bill even tripled. There is going to be a press conference on this on the 24th. And let me see about his press release. Delegate Glenn Glass, there are numerous incidents, and he's speaking directly about BG&E here. So I don't know if he's going to talk about like my end of the woods or what, but there are numerous incidents where BG&E installers have conducted their installation practices with poor regard for customer decision. As a matter of fact, that's absolutely correct, because they came to install one here. And doing what I do, I know the legislative liaison for my electric company. And if I had not been home, I mean, like, this, looking out this window, I literally can see the whole street. So when they pulled up, I was like, and they pulled up in the truck, I ran out and I was like, hi, how can I help you? Oh, I'm here to put in a digital meter. I said, a smart meter? He goes, well, yeah. And I said, except that I've put in twice not to have it. So if you'll wait just a moment, I'll get your boss's boss on the phone. He was like, no problem. They were just going to install it. They were just going around the neighborhood, slapping them up on people's houses. And had I not been home, I would have ended up with one, and I would have been really ticked.
That's the reason. One of the reasons I have a privacy fence and dogs. Well, actually, it would help if I'm not muted.
That would
privacy fence and dogs help to deter that.
Well,
along with the
problem is it's up here, and the fence.
See, mine's in the backyard.
Yeah. So he's absolutely right. They just stick them up, and it's there have been cases where a consumer opposes the installation of a smart meter on their house, and yet it is installed anyway. A single mom had the cops called on her for refusing a smart meter, and others were told there was a $75 monthly fee, which is actually an initial fee of $75 and then a fee of $11 per month. And that's correct because that's what I'm paying.
And the initial fee was broken up over your first 3 bills.
Right. A lady became sick when she moved into a condo with smart meters. 2 days after she moved out, she was fined. Delegate Glenn Glass says, quote, smart meters have caused nearly 1,000 fires and are a big brother invasion of privacy, monitoring our activity. Smart meters make your bill increase. Last year, BG&E installed a smart meter on my house without permission, and my bill doubled. I'm sorry. I'm reading from the press release. My legislation is a cross-file of Senator McFadden's smart meter opt-out bill in the Senate. It is time for this bipartisan bill to become law, allowing the citizens of Maryland to come first, not the monopoly of the utility companies. So anyway, and they're going to go ahead and but he's been fighting this for years, and I'm so pleased to see him working across the aisle to do what needed to be done for.
He has, and I think we even helped him a little bit last year too, because I believe Michael co-signed last year on
I think I'd have to go look. I don't want to speak for Michael, but I'd have to go look it up. I think he co-sponsored that all along. And I know that
I can't speak to all along. I was just a member of the party last year,
like the last 3 years. So anyway.
So
yes.
Navy Craig, thanks for being with us for your first time. Typically the show goes anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, depending on how much and long-winded we want to be.
Yeah. We generally try to end around 9:30. It just depends on how much of a good time we're having and how much wine Andy's had to drink. So, Andy, can we ask reps for proof of their tallies and expect a legit answer if they are not our reps? What does that mean? Rain, you're going to have to expand on that?
I know what he means.
All
it's
right.
Something that I've constantly harped on in everybody's favorite message boards. I constantly harp on people keep harping that we need to keep our elected officials accountable. The easiest way to do that, at least that I found out with my 3 delegates and my senator, is to walk in the office and ask them on a particular issue, how many contacts have you had from your constituents and for and or against the bill?
That's a good question.
In the case of my 3 delegates, and I have Pena, Melnick, Barnes, and Frush. Pena Melnick was the only one that was up front with the numbers. Frush blew me off, and Barnes
probably doesn't keep track.
She's probably too old to keep track.
Okay.
And that's as clean as I'm going to get because it's not 9 o'clock yet. And then across.
And you're not drinking.
No, I'm not.
No, this is just Dan.
That's right.
So
are you sure you want me to drink?
And now, guys, you know what the office was like.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And why Andy drinks so much.
Or how much wine Andy's had. Yeah, right. So.
Pretty much. So back to what I was saying.
Yes,
the thing I harp on is contact your delegates, contact your senator on any and every bill you are interested in, and ask them the number of contacts for and against from their constituents. Yeah. I found out.
Yeah, I think that's a fair question.
I found out from 281, at least from Pena Melnick, that as much as it pains me to say it, she had a whopping 208 contacts on then SB 281. It was 105 to support the bill and 103 against the bill. She voted for the bill, so she did what the quote-unquote majority of her constituents that contacted her wanted to do. Now, this leads into something else. If you don't contact your delegates and if you don't use the proper name on your voter card, you don't get counted. Period. So,
in some offices.
In some offices, that is correct.
And I will say this.
I'd have to stress that one because there are quite a few that actually do take the term delegate and the term senator to heart. And while they are primarily constituents, will actually listen and value the opinions of people not in their districts.
Yeah, and I don't know.
And I have to agree with that.
I don't know any Republicans who treat their constituents that way. No, I'm not saying that there aren't any. I'm saying I don't know any Republicans, and I worked there for a long time. So now I don't know the current crop. I just can speak to the ones that were reelected.
And I'm of the same mindset. If you sit on any committee you sit on, you now represent all Maryland's, not just the Marylanders that are in your district.
Yeah.
At which point you need to listen to all the emails that come into your office on that subject that's in front of your committee.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
You want to hold them accountable, step into their office, get to know them. As I said before, this is a contact sport, 365 days a year, not just the 90 days they're in session. When you see them, your delegates, your elected officials, your senator, everybody else, make contact with them. You may not like them. They might not like you, but you know what? Say hi, shake their hand, let them know that you're still there and you're going to be a pain in their butt.
Yeah. But as I said on the mall, also remember, you need to explain it to their staff, because if the delegate or the senator isn't in and the staff member can't explain it to them, if they don't understand it, they can't explain it. And if they can't explain it, you're not getting represented, properly. So, but be nice to the staff.
Yes, the staff is actually probably does more work for you than
should be nice anyway.
Than your delegate.
We shouldn't be beating up on anybody just because, but we shouldn't be beating up on anybody.
I'm apparently finally back up and working. Yay.
Damn. Took you a long time to get it up.
Not 9 o'clock.
I was talking about his internet. What are you talking about? Weekly guided tours. Weekly guided tours.
So people ask you for weekly guided tours in the house. There are ways around learning to get around to folks. The only thing I wanted to comment on too, just to kind of pile on, emails to your reps are great. The contact point. Telephone calls are better because that's a voice and somebody has to deal with it. Physical face-to-face meetings with them are the best. If you can at least get to the staff and politely explain what your issues and values are. And even better, if you can actually get an appointment with the delegate, with the senator, and make your opinion known. If you do that, the only request or the only comment and suggestion I would make is the same thing as when we testify in front of the committees. Short, brief, have your talking points and engage them in a conversation. Get your information out to them quickly and efficiently, and then allow them to engage you in conversation, because they are busy folks. So they do have a lot of time, but they are responsible to us. So
Mike would take meetings outside of judiciary.
Yes.
I would pull him out, at an appropriate interval for a constituent who had a meeting. And I would always tell them, especially this time of year when things really start cooking, I would tell them, look, you may not get your meeting in the office and you may have to wait, till I can get him out of committee, but you will get your meeting. And everybody who made an appointment to meet with Michael was told that when I made the appointment. So they all came in and they were like, sure, no problem. And they chilled out and we got them all taken. Phil wants to start a pool on the wine question. I have no idea what the wine question is.
So I did want to address one thing in there to again, thank you for joining us today, Navy Craig. Hopefully you come back next time again.
Yeah.
As far as the information on contacts, that's really up to the delegates. I don't believe there's anything that says they have to keep track of anything.
No.
And it is really up to the delegates. All I can tell you from personal experience, my getting voluntold in Mike Smiegel's office last January 31st,
I'm kind of good at
when I came in walking in and said, hey, do you need some help? I was tasked with two things, one of which was a homeschool bill because I homeschool my kids, not important right now. But the other thing that I was tasked to do was going through all of the contact information and contact points that we had for what at the time was Senate Bill 281, is now known as the Firearm Safety Act of 2013, or the Freedom Suppression Act, if you wish to prefer those terms. But
I like that one. That's pretty good.
I can't take credit for that. That was one of our other MD shooters. But Mike, as a delegate, and some of the other delegates that we ran into, kept information for years. We organized folders. We had contact points in there when a new issue would come up. Quite frequently, somebody in the office would go, hey, we've talked about this before. We'd go back in the Gmail and find it and bring it up and rebrief Mike on a subject before. Fortunately, there's nothing that requires them to do that. Some of the more conscientious delegates will.
True. And I can tell you the far left, and I have to, well, the far left they could care less. They know how they're voting and they could care less what you tell them.
Well, they were told how to
But-
vote. So
Pretty much. But, it wasn't that long ago. We had a Republican in the Senate who, if there was a, and I won't call out names here, but that person is no longer a senator, who would, if there was a Democrat lead sponsor, was an automatic no. And that's not how that's supposed to go.
no,
That's
it's
not
supposed to be. It's a legislative body for debate.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to represent their constituents, and they're supposed to represent the best interests of the state.
Yep.
So the fact that we do have people that toe a line that is not set by the constituency is sad. But
Yeah.
the only way we correct that is by showing up.
That's right. And if you can't show up, if you cannot show up, then please
Yes, T.
call.
Smith. A lot of us do the same thing.
To what?
A comment to the chat room.
A lot of you do.
Read the chat
Oh,
room.
jeez. All right. Well, we're not going to start. We lose the argument when we publicly call people names. So let's not do that. And which is why you refer me to the chat room. So, okay. I'm just checking. Dan, speaking of Maryland bills.
Let's see. I guess we'll start with March 10th, which is House Gun Bill Day.
Yes. And then Senate Gun Bill Day is the 12th.
March 12th.
Yeah.
They're both the same week. They're 2 days apart.
Just take off all 3 days.
Well, it would appear that, and depending on how you want to define this, there seems to be a sense of sanity and reasonability returning after 3 years, because it was my impression that starting in 2013, it was odd that they did the short notice on the gun bill days and the hearing days. That back before 2013, the hearing announcements used to be up to 3-4 weeks in advance, and in 2013 they got shortened to a week or 3 or 4 days.
Okay. I don't remember it being like that. I mean, we knew in advance on 281 when the hearing was going to be, and we had plenty of time to get our feet under us.
But yes, our favorite blonde instructed me that before that there was generally 2 or 3 weeks heads up, as opposed to the week or 2 weeks that we have gotten over the last couple.
Yeah, we
years.
usually get more, but we got plenty this year. So.
Yeah, we've got a month. We actually got a month's worth. So yes, March 10th is the House, March 12th is the Senate. So interestingly enough, there's still not anything that I would consider really a bad bill, in my opinion, on either side per se.
Well, and just to bring it up, since we're talking about the bills, because Shannon brought it up on the show when she was here, and as of now, bill drop dates have hit for both houses.
Yep.
That does not mean that a bill cannot come to the floor or come to a committee for a hearing. It means it's more difficult. It means it goes to the respective rules committees in their houses. But if it is something that is against us, or something that the legislative leadership wants out, it will come out. If it is something they don't want to come out, it will die in the rules committee.
Yep.
But you still need to keep on top. We still need to, for those of you who don't know how to use it, if you just do a Google search for Megaleg, MGALEG, the first link that you get will be the Maryland legislature page.
I didn't even thought of
And you
that.
can look at the status of all legislation. There's a link dead center in the page, status of all legislation, with a link for the Senate and a link for the House.
MGA leg, what? That one?
MGA leg, period.
Yeah.
In Google, the first link will bring you to the website.
Oh, I was going to put the website.
Well, if you want the whole thing, it's megaleg.maryland.gov.
Okay, that's what I wanted to do.
And right in the center of the page. For those of you that are on Maryland Shooters, there are 3 threads that are currently active, one of which covers all of the 2015 bills, thanks to MX Rider, and then 2 by Mr. H, I believe, that are specific to preparation for each of the individual gun bill days.
Yes.
Both of those threads actually have a link that Mr. H put in there specific to firearms legislation for this year. So you can actually do a sort that looks specifically at that. But you do need to keep an eye on it. Some bills do get introduced late. They do get introduced at the last minute. There is even the possibility of a bill being dropped on sine die. So not that it happens very often, but it can.
It does. What did I want to say? You said something about bill drop dates.
So Dan, 2A in Maryland would like to know which day is more important.
That's a hard one to answer. I've been.
Well, can I?
Sure.
Okay. Here's my thinking on that. The 10th. You know why? Because Valerio will make sure that everybody gets heard.
That is true.
I know we
true.
have.
And
I know we
have a new chairman on the other side,
that.
but we don't know how he's going to respond.
And we know that Joe Valerio, you may not like his politics, but the man makes sure that everybody has their say.
And he may not. He quite frequently has flat out told some of us that he doesn't agree with our stances on it. But he is a very principled legislator.
Yeah.
Every single person who came into the House Joint Committee, despite pressure from the members of the Joint Committee to not do so, Joe made sure that everybody got heard. And unlike the Senate, everybody got a couple of minutes. Not the oh, it's too late, we're just going to have you come up and say your name and your city and for or against and get out.
Yeah, see, that's bogus. That's bogus.
Yeah.
Now, I hate this cord. So
stop playing with it.
It's not 9 o'clock yet.
What are you talking about, dear?
The cord, dear, the cord. Oh yeah, and the other thing is, if you've written your testimony and you're prepared to give it, and it comes your turn, and somebody's made all your talking points, the committees love when you stand up and say, "My name is Andy Maroney. I am against this bill for all the reasons previously stated, otherwise known as me too." So, and they love that because it's like, bing, then they start paying attention again. And for those of you that are particularly creative, who brought the Faraday cage?
Bolts.
Is Bolts with us?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. And that was very, very effective. Bringing,
bringing a cell phone and 2 pieces of tinfoil.
But that kind of creative thinking in making your presentation, making your 3 minutes or your 2 minutes or whatever they give you, really awesome. Now, not all of us are creative. I would never have, thought of something like that, but I'm not Bolt. So
that and there are a lot of folks that don't take up as much space as Bolts does either.
Okay.
He was tall man, wide shoulders, big.
he was the one that stood up last year and said,
"I'm a big some
bitch," and spread his arms out, and his arms spanned the length of the table.
Yeah, Cypher, I understand what you're saying about Joe Valerio. I do, but there are a lot of people out there that I vehemently disagree with. Absolutely, positively disagree with. But the man will hear you out, and there is no guarantee. Well, we knew under Frosch, when he was done, he was done. He was not going to sit. And Valerio sat.
Well, I was going to say, that's the other thing. Frosch was very rarely in the committee room. And the camera was specifically turned off so that you couldn't see that he was not in the room. If I don't think I saw Joe take more than 2 breaks the entire time.
On his birthday, no less.
Yeah. So 2A and Rayman, both of you kind of asked the same question about Zirkin and new blood on the Judiciary Committee and Senate.
I can speak to that a little bit.
Okay.
Shannon and I stopped by last week on Thursday in judicial proceedings to try and feel them out to see what's going to happen on the 12th. The feeling that number one, they at least talked to us this year, as opposed to when Frosch was in charge, they wouldn't even take our cards and look at us.
Right.
So that's the first change. The second one that we got, at least from the staff, is that they will do everything to try and accommodate us.
Yeah. And last year I had talked to various staffers in the House Judiciary Committee and said, let me just tell you, we are getting massive amounts of testimony that in favor or against our bills or whatever, in favor of our bills, and we will be bringing it down just before the thing. And so we got down there. It was what, 2 carts? 2 of those big carts?
Well, we took a flatbed and I know the guys made 3 trips down from the office.
Yeah. And so, I mean, we are talking thousands of pages of material on all kinds of bills. And God love my boys. Dan and Mike, I sent them into the hallway, said, go get us some help. And we just sort of took over Judiciary and flip. And Judiciary staff was like, they were like They were a little nervous when we rolled in with all that. And I said, just tell me what you need, how you want this put out, and we will take care of it.
Yeah, because the first words out of her mouth were no.
Yeah,
no, we have 5 minutes and we will help you disperse all of this.
And we got it done.
We had probably about 15 paper ream boxes full of testimony.
There's a picture somewhere
that had to be. Yeah, there is a picture from Andy's office on her Facebook page. It shows her sitting in front of the pile of testimony. Yeah. That entire pile of testimony made it around to how many people on Judiciary? 20.
You're going to ask me to count? I'd have to count desks.
I was going to say 22 desks. We just did it in a round robin and literally had all of the stacks of paper out in the desks neatly.
Yes.
In about 6 or 7 minutes.
And had we had another 20 minutes, I could have had all that stuff by bill number. But because I didn't know what to expect, and we got down there, and at first, poor thing was so overwhelmed. I mean, she was so overwhelmed. She wasn't going to let us do anything. And I was like, okay, so you can deal with this later, or you can just tell me what to do.
Yeah, Tom, thanks for helping. And yes, we did put the pages to work that day also that were there to simply watch the committee.
Yep.
Yeah, and Rain Man, we don't know about a war room at this point, whether we've got anybody friendly enough to make it available to us. And Shipper K, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Yes, Smeags did not win re-election. So yes, he is not in our lovely Judiciary Committee anymore.
What was it? He said something about, what was the first thing? And I was about to interrupt you.
The war room.
Oh, I suspect, though I don't know, that the war room will be in the same place it was last year.
Okay.
On the second floor. So as soon as we've got that down, it's also the same place it was for 281. So, so anyway, but yeah, I suspect as soon as we know more about that, Dan and I and Mike and Shannon will let you know. But yeah, not only are we all there united for a particular issue, but it's a fun day.
Yes.
I think it was for 280. No, it wasn't 281. I forget what day it was, but one of the guys, and he may well be in the room. I don't know. I'm so sorry. I don't remember who it was. Grabbed a bunch of us and said, "I'm ordering pizza. Let's go." And we went down to the little common area on the first floor, and we all sat around and ate pizza. And somebody produced a bottle of wine, I think, when it was all over.
That was the 281 hearing.
No, because that was in committee. Maybe it was a vote.
I thought it was the joint hearing vote that went late.
No, because we were in Kathy's office. By the way, Delegate Kathy Vitale will be a judge on Monday afternoon.
Speaking of the good delegate, soon to be her honor.
Yes.
Speaking of Joe was nice. Chairman Valerio was nice enough today to take HB 160 off her hands. It is now a committee bill. So it's now in the committee's hands. It will still be up for hearing on Gun Bill Day.
I'm sorry. Tell me what this bill is again.
HB 160 is external firearm safety locks. So instead of having to have an internal lock like what's needed.
Oh, yeah. Okay. This is the anti-Omega lock.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, we actually like that bill.
Yes, we do.
I guess if Joe's making a committee thing, then that's a good thing. Do we have any indication from him that he likes it, or is he just doing her a solid?
My first impression is that he's doing her a solid. However, my second impression is that there's some movement on this. This came up last year. This bill came up last year. There was a lot of good testimony, and we got some very interesting looks, although we didn't get any follow-up questions from any of the delegates on the committee, when it was mentioned that if you go into a Maryland State Police barracks, or if you go into a certain, depending on what county you're in, you go into a local station and ask them for a free firearm safety lock, they will give you any myriad of objects as a safety lock except for an Omega lock.
Right.
So the question is if I can go to a Maryland State Police barracks and they give me a cable lock for my handgun, why isn't that acceptable as a regular lock when I first purchased my firearm? Why do I have to have an Omega lock?
And I just want to address something going on in the chat room. Mike, actually, that's incorrect. That rule's always been there.
Well, it was specifically put up on several pieces of paper in multiple colors.
I don't know anybody that breaks the rule about how many copies staff is allowed to make. Do you?
We only made the number of copies that we needed for each delegate on the committee.
Just saying that, So anyway, but yeah, there used to be big
and
big
the
signs
staff didn't do that.
Staples.
Well, no, there is actually, if you're a sponsor of a bill, there is actually a what they call the print room, as you well know, where if the testimony that came in ahead of time, like
no, I'm saying that they need to buy more staples for the copy machines.
I wouldn't know. But if you get your testimony in on a particular bill, you can run it over. The staff can run it over to the print shop, and they will Xerox it and collate it for you. And you don't have to deal with it. But the stuff that comes in like the day before or the morning of, I literally got in, I think it was like 6:00 in the morning. Dan, was it you? Somebody was standing outside. It might have been Blake. Was standing outside.
Blake was there waiting for both of us when we rolled up.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we were there at like 0600. I mean, it was insane because we knew for a 1 o'clock hearing it's going to be insane. And fortunately, people came up. This was last year. Oh,
I know. Blake was standing outside because I was already down at the copy machine running through the first blast that I had pulled.
No, you only made 25 copies. That's all you're allowed to make.
I did. I only made 25 copies.
So I'm just saying. Let's leave it here. We had lots of help getting all the copies made that we needed made. Where they got made,
where they got done, we don't know.
All I said was
Staples.
We need this many copies, and
Staples.
Lo and behold, they were delivered unto me.
Staples.
I'm just saying. So, by the way, why doesn't this auto scroll down? I have to keep pulling it down.
Hence, one of the other reasons why we are using a client.
Well, you should have told me that. You didn't explain it well enough. It's all your fault.
It was over your head, dear.
It's not 9 o'clock yet.
Look, Maureen.
If looks could kill, hoorah.
Oh, we've seen that look before and survived, both of us.
Keep it up. Keep it up.
You're doing a fine job.
3 minutes. So
really,
anyway.
is that all?
Oh my God! Wait, I've got a message coming in. Oh, never mind. Hey, did you want to talk about the little black folders?
Sure, why not?
I guess if you would like to do so, sure.
Sure, why not?
So the boys got recognition from the Maryland General Assembly, sponsored by former Delegate Smeagol. Oh, you're going to get yours?
I'll go get mine and hold it up to the camera.
So got to brag on him a little bit. Got to brag on him. It was damn nice.
So I'm pretty sure we can probably brag on a bunch more people to that one, because I thought you told me that came to everybody. That helped all of us that were staff members in that office. So I'm pretty sure there's one hiding around here somewhere with the name Andy on it.
It better be. We've had this conversation. Well, I'll tell you in a minute.
You got to give us about 8-9 seconds before it comes up.
Well, it will appear backwards, but
no, it'll appear correctly for them. It appears backwards for you.
Hey, he even spelled my name right.
I was impressed he spelled Mike's name right. Because I always have to remember to take the U out and the G out.
Oh yeah, that one.
So
I thought you were picking on him for getting Michael correct.
No. Considering I just told him we were talking about him. So yeah. So I think you're good.
There you go.
I think you're good.
Cool. So yeah, I was waiting for Mike and I when we got here, and it was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Mike actually, and the significance of this is not just the fact that the boys got state recognition for their efforts, and God bless their souls. But that Michael has never done that's doing the citations is usually it's directed
job.
Well, it's directed by the delegate. So an event comes up and the delegate says, get me a citation and this is what I wanted to say. So then the staff takes over and they do it, and that's how it happens in at least 90 to 95% of the offices. So Michael had to learn where to get a citation, how to write one up. Okay. And mind you, go grab your what?
He knows what I'm talking about.
It's 9:00.
Keep going. Keep going.
But then when they gave him a hard time about it, the folks that issue these, he had to rewrite it, and he really went to bat for all of us. And it was a terribly sweet thing to do.
So
you're going to read it?
We had a request
Okay.
from the chat room because they couldn't really read it because the camera's set to be more focused on us than it is anything else. So it says, the Maryland General Assembly official citation. Be it hereby known to all that sincerest congratulations are offered to Dan Blasberg or Mike Doherty and Andy Maroney and probably others in recognition of his faithful and tireless pursuit of liberty and freedom for the citizens of Maryland. Presented on this 12th day of January 2015 on behalf of the Cecil County House delegation, and it is signed Delegate Michael D. Smeagol Sr., Chair.
He was the chair. Yeah, absolutely. So very cool. Very cool. And I will be framing mine. Note the choice of words.
Yes.
With an Army and a Marine in here, I have to be very careful how I put things. But anyway, I will be framing mine. And actually, I should ask for that for a birthday present. A frame. Stop it. Stop it. It is 9:01, but stop it. Stop it. Oh my God. Here we go. All right, boys.
And it's on.
Like Donkey Kong.
Yes, it is.
All right. I just want to make sure that.
So let's see.
You had a couple of others, and I think you probably had a couple of others to talk about tonight too.
I think we've talked for most of. I had the gun bill days and the various bills that are out there. We talked about the new MSP head. We talked about Conway Sr.
I've got some stuff.
National thing, ATF.
Oh,
it's actually the next thing in her file.
This thing right here.
That would be it.
Okay, so
you want to do that one?
So from NRA ILA, I really should have had Shannon call in.
Shannon
Doherty. I don't know if she's listening.
Paging Shannon Alford.
She had a bunch of stuff going tonight. So
hello, Gun Bunny.
Stop outing her. You've already been chewed on that once.
Oh, they already know who she is.
Stop outing her.
What's your question, Rayman?
So
go with your article.
Right, okay.
We'll figure out the chat room. Go with your
the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. What the hell does the E stand for?
Explosives.
Okay. To ban common AR-15 ammo in a move clearly intended by the Obama administration to suppress the acquisition, ownership, and use of AR-15s and other .223 caliber general purpose rifles, BATF. It is explosives. Unexpectedly announced today that it plans to ban commonplace M855 ball ammo as armor-piercing ammunition. The decision continues Obama's use of his executive authority to impose gun control restrictions and bypass Congress. They have already taken, BATFE has already taken 3 major actions on gun control. First, it was a major change to what activities constitute regulated manufacturing of firearms. Then they reversed a less-than-year-old position on firing a shouldered pistol. Really?
Yep.
And then they released a, quote, framework for determining whether certain projectiles are primarily intended for sporting purposes, quote, end quote. Oh, I'm sorry, not end quote. Within the meaning of 18 U.S.C. 921A-17C, end quote, which would eliminate M855's exemption to the armor-piercing ammunition prohibition and make future exemptions I want to make sure impossible. By way of background, federal law imposed in 1986 prohibits the manufacture, importation, and sale by licensed manufacturers or importers, but not possession of, quote, a projectile or projectile core, which may be used in a handgun and which is constructed entirely from one or a combination of tungsten alloys, steel, iron, brass, bronze, beryllium, copper, or depleted uranium, end quote. Because there are handguns capable of firing M855, it quote, may be used in a handgun. It does not, however, have a core made of the metals listed in the law. Rather, it has a traditional lead core with a steel tip, and this would never be considered armor piercing. Nevertheless, they have declared this to be armor piercing, but granted it an exception as a projectile primarily intended to be used for sporting purposes. Comments, boys.
That pretty much covers it. The M855 round and the SS109 rounds are indeed not steel core. They are steel tipped. Yes, they are soft armor defeating. Soft armor being what we or any of our friends would wear in the field. They are not armor piercing, i.e. what you would find on a vehicle of any type. So the ATF is trying to update a regulation on a round that doesn't even come close to meeting the definition of an AP round. And the fact that the military considers it a soft armor piercing round is kind of the argument that ATF used originally to give it the exemption.
There's some interesting information. They also just lost a lawsuit over a patent on XM855. M855 and
correct.
And M855A1 was developed to replace lead rounds and prevent groundwater contamination on a military post.
Correct.
So let's get this straight. It's environmentally sound, and
the A1 round is yes. The M855A1 round is absolutely. It is copper jacket, copper core, fragnable ammo. It has no lead in it at all. It completely disintegrates on impact when you're using it on a range. So you don't have any lead abatement issues on the range at all of the training bases. I know I'm using big words.
No, I'm trying to follow. Follow the chat room.
We
and
actually
lost.
did. We had the mics potted up while we were having problems, and you were muttering under your breath.
Oh no!
And you did make some comments that
we're not suitable for children
or commercial business.
What?
Yeah.
Sorry, Jim. Rayman said he had a question, and that's why I was trying to go back and figure out.
So
what it was.
he was trying to find out where was the Maryland hunting coalition for the Sunday hunting bill yesterday.
Oh, they weren't there. You mean their lobbyist wasn't there? Is that so? I would like somebody to answer that question. Was Bill Miles there to be heard on Sunday hunting bill? Okay.
Well, it did snow.
Yesterday was cleanup from the snow.
Yes.
And the middies apparently.
You're paid to be a lobbyist.
It depends on where they were coming from, because I'm not making excuses for them at all.
I don't make as much money. I don't make any, but I didn't make as much money as a lobbyist when I was working as a staffer. Nowhere near. I made more money as a teacher than I did as a staffer. Okay, so let me just put it this way: if my butt can be there for the hearings and for testimony and stuff, a well-paid lobbyist should certainly get themselves a hotel, go, gee, it's going to snow. Perhaps this might be a problem. I should get a hotel room and have their butt there.
The rest of the lobbyists that I know of and work with do that.
I'm aware. This particular one drives me crazy. So
I thought that was our job.
No. I have fun with the way you guys drive me crazy for the most part.
Who's your daddy?
Oh, jeez.
12 miles down the road. You could have said hello when I called him.
She talked to him earlier.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
See.
We will not explain that remark.
I had to call my dad. I had a family thing. Put him
not
on
what I'm referring to, and you know it.
I have no idea what you're talking about. All right. So
Doobie.
still don't know what you're talking about. All right. Next.
I have no idea.
Okay. So Moms Demand founder redefines defeat as open carry legislation advances in Texas. I got this off of, or I got this from bearingarms.com. Texas Governor Greg Abbott made clear during his State of the State address yesterday that the Lone Star State would soon join the supermajority of states that allows law-abiding citizens to open to law-abiding citizens. This is what happens when I can't read these things all the way through. Law-abiding citizens.
You're not even halfway through the bottle of wine yet. That's the problem.
Oh no, this is all Mike's fault. That allows law-abiding citizens to open carry to
It
open
printed
carry
out.
holstered
I'm off the hook on this one.
handguns. You are off the hook on this one. She even she's gone on and we don't like open carry. It's terrible. People who they're idiots. Blah, blah, blah. The safety of our children, she wrote. Shannon Watts wrote in a Huffington Post article. The safety of our children and families in our communities is paramount, and open carry is not a step in the right direction. We refuse to have to consider whether people who are open carrying around our children and families are members of law enforcement sworn to protect us, or if they are activists making a political statement, or dangerous criminals that we should run from. She even quoted former Governor Rick Perry favorably because he said he wasn't all that fond of open carry. Yet, just hours after Governor Abbott made clear that Texas will allow open carry, Watts moved the goalposts and suggested that Moms Demand Action still hadn't lost because the bill Abbott will sign had yet to land on his desk, and even when it does, it will likely require permitting. Well, duh. She's just losing her cookies. So I can't.
It's called grab attention where possible, shift the story to make it make sense. That's all she's trying to do.
I'm just saying. Did you read this?
Trying to make herself relevant.
Did you actually read this?
I read through some of it. I didn't. I mean, keep in mind, I was reading some of this stuff at work on a break. So
okay. On February 11th, the New York Times. I'm moving stories, unless we want to talk about that. Although I see we're talking about bourbon now.
They've been talking about bourbon.
Okay. New bourbon bar. We didn't get to go there, but we got to go.
Oh, is that the one you guys?
Dry 85 in Annapolis. Yeah. Epic. So when we all go to testify, when we're done, we got to go to Dry 85. A little tiny place, but they have all these different kinds of bourbons. Some of them are boutique. Some of them are, high end, this and the other thing. I mean, I'm a maker's girl, as most of you know. I'm a maker's girl. Not so much on the Knob Creek. I know a lot of people swear by it. That's fine, but I like the caramel in the makers more than I do the Knob Creek. But I had something called Blanton's, which is really good. Really good stuff. So I am excited to go back and try it. So
don't have to know which version of Blanton's, do you? Remember?
You're asking her to remember the actual thing.
I only had 2 glasses. I had the rally the next day. I could not be hungover, and I was not hungover, and you know it. I don't, because I talked to the waiter and said, this means nothing to me. Here's what I like. Here's what I like about it. Here's what I don't like about that brand. What do you recommend? And he said Blanton's.
Okay.
So that's what I got. Shannon.
So before you go digging into that one, so a couple of comments from the room.
Cool.
Perrin, Watts doesn't mind having her armed guards around her kids. And then I'm trying to look up something from Navy Craig that mentioned that the 2 CCW bills made it into the Southern Maryland News, the Enterprise. So I'm looking up the links for those to post them in the chat room as well. And probably a question for you, T. Smith. Is the reciprocity bill a good one, or will it hurt those of us with Utah carries?
There's
as it's written, it will hurt everybody that has a Utah permit, because Utah has a poison pill portion in their law that once a state recognizes Utah's bill, Utah will only recognize out-of-state permits from that state, i.e. Maryland, for those Maryland citizens that have a Maryland carry permit.
And I know that Perrin is working on this very hard, because I've had several conversations.
Perrin's been working on it very hard. I have a little more background on it from talking with the senator on it, that at this point in time, I'm going to keep close to the vest. Sorry, folks.
That's fine. I also know a cute blonde that's concerned as well. So
she and I talked to the senator, and he kind of gave us the background of what he's ultimately working on.
Okay. So that's the story. Yes. I agree, Rain. Good stuff. Let's see. Okay. Perrin's dealing with that. And okay. Now it's finally starting to drop down in the chat room so I can keep up with it. Anyway, according to the New York Times, concealed carry holders are bad guys with guns.
Gee, I'm surprised from that rag.
I know. This according to Breitbart.com. So you can find the article. It was, I don't know how to enunciate the person's name, but the author's name, but it was Hawkins that wrote it up. The New York Times armed itself on February 11th with a report from the Violence Policy Center, VPC. I never heard of them till today. And went to war against concealed carry permit holders, associating said permit holders with murder and other crimes, and raising the specter that concealed carry permit holders may actually be the bad guys with guns in a scenario where good guys with guns are promised. According to the New York Times, the VPC report shows 722 non-self-defense deaths since 2007 were attributable to individuals with legal permits to carry concealed weapons. The New York Times jumps on this claim, adding, quote, the full death toll attributable to concealed carry is undoubtedly larger because the center's study did not cover all 50 states. Moreover, the New York Times makes it clear that the only thing preventing the discovery of complete death toll numbers is that pro-gun lawmakers, quote, dare not allow a national tally. Problem with these claims is that the VPC report contains inaccuracies, and so does the New York Times' resulting presumptions. John Lott got involved. God bless his soul. And he says that the VPC study is written in a way that heightens crime numbers among concealed carry permits by lumping suicides and murders together in the states studied. For example, the VPC indicates 277 suicides or murders for Michigan CCW holders for the time period 2007 to 2015. What Lott shows is that 217 of that 277 of these suicides or murders were in fact suicides. This fact alone reduces the grand the grand tally of 722 non-self-defense deaths by 38% without even looking at how the numbers have or have not been represented in other states. Additionally, John Lott points out that suicides most often happen at home and therefore are not meaningful in any way linked to the act of carrying a permitted concealed handgun outside of one's home. Just a little comment on this, and I wish Amelia was here because she's got the background in counseling to back me up on this. Somebody wants to kill themselves.
They'll find a way.
They
Find a way.
Yeah, they don't have a gun. They'll find a way. Okay, and a cry for help is a cry for help. You don't need a gun in the house to have a cry for help. Whether it's just a cry for help or whether they really want to kill themselves, it doesn't matter. So for the what is it? Violence Prevention.
Violence Policy Center.
The Violence Policy, whatever it is, center to be making these claims is bogus, okay? Because anybody who's, taken Psych 101 knows that somebody wants to die, they will find a way. So, so that is, I know, Tom, I'm shocked that the New York Times would, the VPC leader is from Sandy Hook. Okay. Yes, I am just so shocked that the New York Times would be stacking their facts.
That are misquoting incorrect or quoting incorrect facts.
Well, given that the VPC leader is from Sandy Hook, I guess they'd have a little bias.
Well, yes and no. There could be an argument made there because, for those that don't know, the National Shooting Sports Foundation's headquarters is in Sandy Hook.
I did not know that.
Yes, NSSF's headquarters is in Sandy Hook, in Newtown.
What? So 2A Maryland says VPC had one of the only FFL licenses in D.C. during the ban.
Yep.
What does you mean? The leader of VPC?
No, VPC is an organization. They had an individual that was a part of VPC that had an FFL.
Huh.
Right now, there, if I remember right, and I think Cypherpunk can correct me on this. Currently, there are 2 active FFLs in DC. Only one of them will do transfers because the other one belongs to a theater company for them to be able to get replicas for their shows.
Huh. Interesting.
The other one is in the only quote unquote legal part of DC where an FFL can be, a dealer can be, and that's in the headquarters of Metropolitan Police Department. Because there is absolutely nowhere in the District of Columbia that you can legally set up a gun shop, a firearms dealer.
Well, and that's helping their crime rate so much.
You know, if I had the money, I might try and go open one and take them to court, a la the way the dealers in Chicago did.
Yeah, you need.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Although I think I know a gentleman on the other side of the river in Arlington that might help with that.
Okay.
So
Cyberpunk is getting a room. I don't know
for
what
the snow.
About.
For the snow.
I don't know. I saw.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just trying to read, just trying to catch up on what's going on.
Yeah. Rayman, what were you talking about the HQL? I saw it, but forgot to ask you about it.
So, and while Rayman, because it takes him a couple seconds to catch up to us.
That's all right.
So let's see. So poor John. He is on his way home.
Woohoo! He's finally out of.
I got a text from him at 8:44, waiting in line to pay for parking. It was like a high school talent show minus the talent. Yeah, I've seen the videos. Trust me. Yeah. Oh, somebody came up the stairs. Oh
no, it's back
down the hallway. Vanilla Ice got arrested, by the way. Did you see that?
Who did?
Vanilla Ice.
I'm sure.
Ice, baby.
Oh yeah.
Really?
I'm just saying. You know, he does that building show or whatever on what is it? HGTV. Yeah. So apparently there are charges against him. As near as I can tell, he stole something, but allegedly stole something. I have no idea. But anyway, what else?
What else? Let's see.
So we want to advocate for the amendment of the CCW, the reciprocity bill. We want to make sure that's clear. It's a good bill, but
all I will say is that the senator has a plan, and Shannon and I like his plan.
Okay.
He trust Shannon and I on this. We like his plan.
Well, I don't know you or Shannon, so why the hell would I trust you? Oh, sorry.
Because I worked with you in the same office for almost 90 freaking days.
And at 14, 15 hours a day. Yep. Yeah. Might as well live together.
Yeah, we weren't an 8 to 9. We weren't a 9 to 5 office. We worked until it was done.
Yeah. Were you there? Did you work when Tom was there?
No, I came after Tom.
Yeah, he was fun to harass. Because he didn't get harassed too much because I was too busy. But anyway, okay. So here's the deal. Talk of the new MSP superintendent has everyone a buzz about getting the requirements done. Transfer fees. He needs some street cred. The room.
So you do have a question in there, and I don't know if you're the best person for it, but Rayman had asked, what do we do for those people who can't afford the HQL? Let's see, what was it? D-Blast, talking of getting stuff done, the HQL requires before the rush. No way I can afford $600 to $800 on a guess. What are the financially challenged supposed to do? Rayman, I can say this honestly, that was brought up by multiple people in testimony in front of the committees. It was brought up by multiple people in hallway conversations with the delegates. And there were quite a few of them who had been directed on how they would vote, whose basic response was, I don't know, or worse. We all know that the state's fine example is we're trying to make it as hard as possible, and they really don't give a flying rat's butt about the fact that some woman on the streets of Baltimore in the Western District, where a buddy of mine works as a cop, can't afford to find the classes, get to the classes, take the classes just to be able to afford to buy the gun. So, but he did have a question directed to you. So I don't know if there's anything that that we don't want to share or whatever.
See, I don't know that there's going to be a rush on the HQL. Cypher's posting all of the FFLs in DC.
Oh, I was like, what the heck?
I
got it.
I understand
I got it.
I understand the look. There's your answer for the look.
Thank you.
Rain Man, with regards to that, I don't know that there's going to be a rush for the HQL because that hasn't changed. But in regards to that, there are ways around most of it. They have all been talked about on Maryland Shooters in one place or another. I would encourage you to use the search function, and if you can't find what you're looking for, send me a PM, and I'll be more than happy to point you to certain threads that will help you out.
Yeah, and also if you need these guys, my phone number is actually on the About page on my Facebook, but you can reach me at 410-490-2734. And if you don't have it by now, write it down. You can friend me on Facebook at facebook.com/Andy Moroni, ANDIMORONY. You just type in my name.
Shipper, there are actually free options online for training.
I think his name is Skipper Key. I think that's pronounced Skipper, and I think the well, anyway, it's my theory, and I'm sticking with it till he shows up on the 10th and tells me otherwise,
okay,
or calls me on the phone and tells me otherwise. So anyway, that's all I got.
I don't know that I've got anything else. I've been looking around.
There's one more post that I was trying to find on shooters that I wanted to just touch on briefly, but I can't find it. Give me a second.
Okay.
1,000.
Yeah, bite me.
No, thank you. I don't want to get rabies from a Marine.
I was waiting because I know what happens when I say that. I was waiting to see what your response was.
You're cuter. I'd like to get lockjaw from you and get dragged to death.
Oh boy, yeah, it's after 9 o'clock.
Just gonna let it go. Just gonna let it go.
I could have sworn I saw something earlier about one of our FFLs that was actually advocating for making the
scooters
work.
Skipper Key. I was right. It's a dog. Yes.
Yes.
And I can't find the actual thread, but
I know what you're talking about. Yes, there was a reply to an editorial in the Baltimore Sun. It was posted on Maryland Shooters. It was posted on Facebook. Let's see here.
What? Rain, what? Excuse me? All right, it's time to end this show. This is getting out of hand. Okay, just getting out of hand, and I'm not reading that out loud. So if you're not in the chat room, I apologize. But Rayman, you and I are going to have words on the 10th, or you're going to be buying bourbon. Either way,
it was just another reference to the muttering that was going on about why the video wasn't working.
Sure, it was
because we had the mic spotted up because it was time to have the mic spotted up.
Sure.
Yeah,
we're going to go with that.
The FFL is Cooter's Custom Guns. He's apparently up in Harford County. He is a coffee table FFL, which means he does his dealing out of his house in his kitchen, and basically. His rant to the Sun was that he thought getting rid of the HQL and the training standards was utter BS, and that he thought the training standards shouldn't be relaxed. They should be increased for the HQL.
Okay. All right. I think we're done.
I think the Queen has spoken. Oh, I'm sorry, the Empress.
The Empress.
Actually, I've been demoted. I have been demoted. I need to change the name of that page. After having high tea on Saturday, my mother-in-law took my daughter and I to high tea for my birthday, which is this Sunday, but we couldn't do it any closer to my birthday. So we decided that Lily was the princess, and of course my mother-in-law is the Empress because she had the hat on and the little French lace gloves. She was the Empress. Therefore, if my mother-in-law is the Empress, then I must be the Queen. Just saying. So, Rain Man, I'm kind of glad it wasn't recorded, and I'm going to get yelled at because this isn't going to be on Blog Talk, but I can't help that either.
Minor details.
So, yep. So when are you guys coming back?
Are you sure you want us back?
I always want you.
Ooh, baby.
in the studio
In front of the camera?
on the show.
Oh, this is going
In front of the
down.
camera.
He's not even drinking. All right. Okay. Well, before I end up matching
You
my
notice-
shirt,
You know, she's not answering my question.
it's 9:30. You're damn right I'm not answering your question. All right. Okay, guys, we're going to wrap it up for this week as it is 9:30. And I think we've covered all the news that's fit to print for 1 week.
And some that's not.
And then, thank you, Dan, for coming out. And Mike, you're awesome. Thank you so much.
you.
I really appreciate
I
it.
haven't come out yet.
And no, John is not the queen. John is not the queen. Parent, he's gonna kick your butt. At any rate, and don't pick on him today. He has suffered enough. You all need to be very nice to John next week. Oh my God. You all need to be really nice to John next week. After wait till I post the videos my daughter sent me. Oh my God.
I don't know. There might
Boom,
there,
chicka, wow, wow.
there might be some prime Photoshop opportunities there for if anybody wants to grab.
Moving
some
on.
Screen
Moving on. Leave my poor husband alone. My God, he was tortured tonight. All right. So that's it for the February 18th edition of Lock and Load Radio. We will see you back here. I think pretty sure next Wednesday, 8 o'clock.
No, parent, he didn't reconsider the trade. Sorry.
Sing the Glock song. I can't, Skipper Key. I'm
No,
sorry.
she-
That's a Shannon thing.
I was going to say that
That's a Shannon thing.
The Shannon is not here to sing it for us.
We will
so
have Shannon back, and she will sing. Maybe we can get her
we
back
need
with
to,
you guys.
We need to get her and her daughters to record it.
Oh, that would be good.
It would be.
That would be really good. Don't choke, Mike. Don't choke, Mike. And that's a grammar thing.
I was
Don't
talking-
choke. Oh, I thought,
Yes, I know. There's no comma there.
I'm just saying. Just saying. Grammar Nazi has spoken.
Friday is National Kick a Ginger Day.
Actually, today was National Drink Wine Day. I just want you to know that.
Yes, I saw that.
I heard that on the radio today. So, yes, it's Kick a Ginger Day. Perrin, be nice to me. You're so mean. All right,
Well, isn't he also a ginger?
Perrin.
Yeah. And I believe he is. That means we can kick him too.
I didn't
Oh, Perrin.
think it was.
Perrin.
I didn't think he was, but okay.
Perrin. Perrin.
You got to give him about 10 seconds.
Yeah, I know.
All right, we gotta go. So I will bid you all adieu. Thank the boys for coming in, and I will get them scheduled because life is never dull with them. So thank you all very much, and we will see you next week. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.